Now we're rolling. Damage Plan MMA podcast. I'm Jason. As always, my co-host, Mr. Zack Partridge, in the house.
Hi,
I'm
everybody.
back. I'm back from my trip.
Yeah, sorry, we're a day late, so Jason could get back and get settled in.
I decided I was going to drive 22 hours yesterday.
So for all you people harassing us, asking where our breakdown was yesterday, Jackson.
I was driving.
He was driving.
22. I left at 2 a.m. yesterday and I pulled into my house at like 12:04 midnight last night. I'm just, you know that commercial that's where they say Red Bull gives you wings. Red Bull and Adderall give you jet fuel. Holy crap! It's probably not a good cup. I was tossing it. I laid down. Do it. Oh, dude, I laid down and I could not sleep. My heart was racing. Cherie was like, "Your heart is racing like really fast." I'm like, "I cannot go to sleep." I'm like, just let me do something. Let me go break down fights or something.
On the verge of stopping is what your heart was doing.
Well, I was going to stop in Cheyenne because the day was going smooth. I'm like, all right, I'm starting to get a little tired. Maybe I'll make it to Cheyenne and then I'll just call it because I got another 8 hours or whatever. And I go to try to check in a hotel. It's $200 for a hotel in Cheyenne.
No wonder why you kept driving.
I'm like, what kind of hotel is this?
Complimentary continental breakfast? I don't know,
but I was just like, yeah, that's going to be a no from me, dog.
It's a hard pass.
That's a hard pass. I'm not paying $200 to stay in Cheyenne, Wyoming.
For a few hours.
No offense to any of my Cheyenne, Wyoming listeners. We probably don't even have anybody that listen. What's up, D?
There's like 8 people live in Wyoming. That's fine.
Before we get to the UFC card, we got to give a shout out to our boy Clay Collard for putting the beating on Anthony Pettis on the
that we called.
You know who else called it? I was listening to on the way yesterday.
Who?
John McCarthy.
Oh, did he?
Yep. He was like, he said the same thing. He was telling, because Josh Thompson was like, oh, it's going to be Pettis, blah, blah, blah. And John McCarthy's like, you know what? These guys get this big head, but they're coming from the UFC and they don't realize that these guys in these other divisions are, but
John may have refed Clay Collard in the UFC.
Do you think Pettis really came in there and underestimated him?
1,000%, I think.
You think so? You think his head was that big to just say, this guy, even after everything you saw last year of him with boxing, you still think he was just...
Dude, I don't think that many MMA fighters pay attention to boxing.
Dude, his pressure, that pace... I mean,
I'm sure Anthony Pettis knew that he'd been boxing, but at the same time, too, he's probably like, dude, if he's excelling at boxing, he's not putting in the work in other areas either. And where he did a lot of that damage was in the clinch. And I mean,
just body shots, those
beat him up.
Hurting. That straightforward.
John McCarthy was the referee in Clay's last UFC fight.
Well, that's another thing is Pettis probably didn't have very much footage on him as far as MMA. Because what was his last fight? 2 years ago, year and a half ago with Lucas? Was it a year and a half ago?
Well, he did a couple MMA fights after that too, I believe.
Oh, did he? I didn't think he did MMA.
Yeah, he went down to Final Fight Champion FFC in Las Vegas and won right the month after he fought Lucas, a month later, and then he got into his boxing run.
Yeah, but obviously that helped him because his hands look nasty. Shout out props to Pettis, man. That third round though, coming out because he had the distance.
I'm mad though. I feel like it's justifiably so. I think the ref should have stopped the fight in the second round. And when he doesn't do that, that would have given Clay 5 points instead of 3, like all the other winners by decision. I thought he was the one guy that should have earned a stoppage.
It was really close. I mean,
he dropped him and he goes down and he starts doing this. It's like, dude, that's kind of like. That's kind of like the sign that it's like, and Clay was pouring it on him. That's kind of the sign like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
And he let him recover and he obviously was good enough to get back into it. But I was like, man, I don't know. Oh, shout out Tyler Diamond.
Shout out to Tyler Diamond too. Holy crap. I was nervous, man. That kid could crack, man.
He got cracked and he got wobbled.
That long, lanky. I mean, Tyler is tough though, dude, for him to get rocked like that and then to just instincts just grab for that single leg and take him down.
and a beautiful single leg and just tripped him. But the one thing that I just can't say enough about Tyler, he's one of those guys, a fighter's fighter, where he doesn't have it in him to stop. He always has that mental. If you want to stop him, you're going to have to put his lights out.
Yeah, I don't.
If he's conscious, he'll keep fighting. He'll never curl up like this.
Good morning, Mrs. Partridge.
Good morning, babe.
How are you? Hey, we got a date this weekend.
Double date night.
Double date night. My wife's like, we need to go on a date. I'm like, I already got us a date. We're going to Steel Fist.
I'm sure that's exactly what she was thinking.
Exactly what they wanted to go do is go watch Steel Fest.
That's right.
Man. Sorry. It's priorities, I guess. Important things. I don't know.
Oh, jeez.
Anyways, but
PFL is fun.
PFL was a lot of fun. I was just looking at the there was I can't pull it up. Damn it. Never mind. Should we talk about this UFC card since we've been waiting 3 days to talk about it?
Best card ever.
I don't remember a card this good ever.
I don't even care about the ones that we got right and wrong.
I don't even know which ones I got. I think the first couple.
Oh, I'll tell you.
We were a little off.
No, you were off on the first two.
I was off on the first three.
Yeah, and I only went 1 for 2, and then
But then after that,
you actually did pick again. You actually did pick Kevin Natividad.
Did I really?
On the podcast, and then you switched.
I thought I picked him, man.
Yeah. But we kind of killed it overall.
What's up? What's up, Dalton?
What up, dog?
Yeah, especially on the main card. We'll get to the main card anyways. Should we just cruise through these? First one, Baron Burner, Carnelosi, and Lang were just banging the whole fight.
I just thought Lang was going to win, like her length and her reach, and you know, like it was a matchup for her that she should have won. And Ariana Carnelosi, she's a little pit bull, man.
She's jacked.
Oh, and she's jacked all the way. I forgot about that.
You saw her like just not go to her house, or
she looks like a little Jessica Andrade.
She's freaking tank, man.
She looks like a little Jessica Andrade. She's got the traps and the huge shoulders.
Her arms are, that's crazy.
And I'll give her a ton of credit. Her cardio is great.
I was impressed with that too.
I thought she was gassed out. The other girl gassed out. She did not.
Yep.
And with all that muscle, like, good for her. That's a big win for her.
The next up, we had Jeff Molina and Ari. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his first name. Molina looked good, man. I picked against him.
You did, and Molina. I was going to pick against him too, but then what did we realize? James Krause guy. We don't pick against James Krause.
Dude, he poured it on in that third round. He looked damn good.
He knew he needed it's. What's amazing to me is James Krause's guys, win or lose, they always look extremely prepared.
He was prepared.
And he was prepared. That's what I was watching. I was like, oh, this he's prepared perfectly for this. And he knew exactly what he needed to do.
He took a couple shots towards the end of the third round, right before the bell ended. But all in all, great fight. Next up, I was totally wrong on this one. I thought that this dude, freaking being the number 155-pound guy over there in China, and he looked like he should still be in China fighting.
I don't know about that. He had some moments in the fight. To me, it just looked like he was a little too comfortable, and he didn't really have any urgency to close the show. And by the time he realized, like, crap, I'm going to lose this fight, he was trying to goad him into like a little bit of a firefight, and Vargas wasn't having really any of that, and just smart and composed. He knew
he's only 21 years old.
I know. I was talking about him with Cole Faust. I was like, "Did you watch?" Cole turns 20, I think, this week or next week, last week, something like that.
Crazy.
Yeah. So it's like, but if you see it, like, he starts fighting when he's 16. He starts fighting professionally when he's 16 over in China. So
crazy.
Yeah. Pretty crazy. He was good though. He's just young, experience. I think it'll come together for him. Yeah.
I don't think it's the last we'll see of him.
So crazy though. China goes 0 for 3 0 for 4 on the night, but 0 for 3.
Crazy.
That's weird.
Crazy. I was messaging with Steve Sharp. He's like, is China going to go 0 for tonight? I'm like, they think they are, and they did.
Nobody believes
So we fade everybody from China next cards. Bet everybody from Russia, fade everybody from China.
Yeah. We'll see.
Next up, we had Bartoguri and Natividad. I picked Natividad on the podcast. I thought he was going to get it done, but that counter left hook.
Yeah, I'll put you down pretty
Put him
quick.
to sleep. Put him to sleep. I'm just going to hurry through these. Pat Sabatini, we pretty much knew what was going to happen down. His wrestling, just too much.
I picked by submission. He was close on a couple, but
he was close.
Really, but he pretty much controlled him the whole time.
Brendan Allen, what a sweet submission with like 4 seconds left in the round.
Yeah, 4 or 5 seconds left of the round. Heel hooks him. And what was crazy is Roberson went for the heel hook first on him, and Brendan Allen's like, "We're gonna play this game? Cool, watch this."
He looked good on his feet too. Brendan Allen actually looked good on his feet. Where where everybody thought Roberson would get him, but.
And this is where we started the last fight was Sabatini. That's where we started.
Sabatini.
I did not miss a fight the rest of the night.
Yeah, the rest of the night we were spot on.
We picked everything.
Yep. I'll take it because that's really the ones we bet on. So I'll take it. Brendan Allen, Dwight Grant. That was a close fight. In fact,
very close. One
judge had it the other way, it looks like.
Yeah, it was a split decision. Crazy. I thought Grant won that fight, but
I thought he did enough. Randy Brown, Alex, dude. Randy Brown is like 6'3" and 170 pounds. That is crazy.
Dude, he gets the one-armed rear naked choke. I mean, he tapped before he clasped the hands because he finally did clasp the hands, but he clasped them because Alex started to tap. And it's really interesting. It's something that I feel like everybody feels like, you have to sink in the choke behind the head or you have to clasp the hands and do it. For those that don't and that mess around with it, you really don't. If you could get your hooks in and so you can get your hips in to kind of arch your back, and puff out your chest.
Yeah.
And all you have to do is reach around and grab your own tricep. You can get a pretty decent squeeze on somebody's neck. And
when you're long and rangy like that,
I'm not that long, and I've gotten that a few times. Like I'm not that long.
Yeah,
right? But the technique has to be right. And your feet have to really have them sucked in.
Yeah.
Did he have a body triangle on him? Was that maybe?
I don't remember.
But he had his hooks in. I mean, the positioning was just perfect. It's very tough, especially to do somebody like Alex Averio with that much experience. Very good.
He better learn how to check those leg kicks, or he's going to be in for a long night in his next fight.
Yeah.
Next up was Anthony Smith, Jimmy Crute. Man, Jimmy Crute came out with it. Jimmy Crute was battering Smith with leg kicks, but Smith was battering Crute with that jab. That jab was stiff and hard.
On point. People forget that Anthony Smith. I mean, we were both on him.
Yeah.
We had it by decision because who would have picked freak knee injury or leg injury or whatever? Who would have picked that? But Anthony Smith looked fantastic. I mean, that's a legit KO TKO stoppage. Very similar to Chico Vera versus O'Malley, right? You execute something and it shuts off that nerve and that leg. They're saying more
Aldo
than
get Cejudo with it too.
Demetrius Johnson.
Demetrius Johnson got Cejudo. That's what it was. Yeah.
Demetrius Johnson got Cejudo with it in the fight that Cejudo won. He almost lost because of it.
I thought he had broken it when he stepped back and stepped on it because it like flopped on. I'm like, oh, he broke it when he stepped back. He just rolled it back. Oh,
yeah. That's what happens. You can't feel your foot. It's just flopping, and you have no control over it.
It's
so weird.
It's about ready to pop up on my screen here in just a second. Next up, man, what a bummer, man. Chris Weidman, Uriah Hall. I mean, not the way we wanted it to go, but
definitely not the TKO we wanted. We predicted Uriah Hall by TKO.
I did learn a lot about that kick, though, and I learned a lot about checking that kick after that because I've been reading a lot about it.
It's dangerous. Who was talking about it? Was it Valentina? Valentina in the pros fight press conference was talking about it because they asked her how it was to, did she see the kick and then like go into the cage after seeing that? Like, I don't know about you watching it. I almost got emotional. Like it's just it's like, you know, I can't even imagine. And
when you pour your heart and soul into something for what are they, 8 weeks, 8 weeks is what their camps are.
Yeah.
I mean, he's pouring his heart and soul in there. He's at an elite level, and now he's out at least a year. It's gut wrenching, man.
More, yeah, probably like 18 months. And Anderson wasn't the same after that.
No, and
neither will Weidman.
Yeah, Anthony Smith said, "Yeah, you sent me his post fight interview when he saw it. That was crazy."
Yeah, he was watching it live, and Anthony Smith did part of his camp with him.
Damn.
And he even said, he's like, I don't know how that guy's ever lost. He goes, he's by far the best guy I've ever trained with.
Yeah.
And so it's like, and Stephen Wonderboy Thompson,
Wonderboy, yeah.
He was saying this kind of the same thing on Joe Rogan's podcast. And it's like, but we were texting before. There's something that's off with that guy. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but like in his interviews or something, it's almost like he's trying to convince himself that he's still got it, but doesn't really believe it. There's something that's not genuine about what he's saying. Like he doesn't actually believe it, or that he's never actually accepted that he lost.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but and I'm not trying to crap on a guy who is down, but it's why you don't just throw naked kicks either. And you got to set him up with something.
Yeah.
You throw a naked kick and it's too easy to see coming and check it. And Uriah Hall, if he's not the elite top tier striker like an Izzy or what Anderson Silva was.
Yeah.
He's right there on the all-time great. I mean, he's had some of the still has probably one of the nastiest knockouts in the Ultimate Fighter history.
Oh, yeah.
He has insane power. And his legs, if he decides to check a kick,
well,
it's like Chris wasn't expecting it, and he just kicked a piece of a tree that he just pushed back on him.
He even barely had to turn it out too, just enough to get that meaty part out there.
You've got to set up your kicks with something, man. Got to throw a 1-2 with a kick or something. I don't know. Where
does this leave Hall now? Because he's on a 4-fight win streak now in the 185 division. You give him a top 10 guy now? Well,
so here's the other thing. Uriah Hall has a little bit of the same as our fave Thug Rose. It's kind of like which Uriah Hall are you going to get, right?
Yeah.
He's a little bit. He gets a little bit in his head a little bit. And he's talked about it. I wonder if this affects him going forward. He feels bad that he did that.
Yeah, that would be hard. That would be hard.
But I mean, we'll see. He's grown up a lot and he's matured a lot. But I mean, like
he's moved up to 8 in the rankings. Moved up one spot. So do you give him a guy in the top 5? You give him to Darren Till or Jack Hermanson?
I was about to say the fight to make for me is Darren Till.
I like that
because it launches the winner of that fight up into contention.
Yeah,
that's actually the fight that I would really, really like to see, is because they're both so strike heavy.
Yeah,
and they both have the ability. They both have the ability to put it. I don't. We haven't seen Darren Till really like put somebody away in a while, and I'm almost saying I don't know if Till could put Hall away, but I know Hall could put Till away.
Yeah,
that could be a really good fight.
Could be interesting.
That's what I would like to see for Uriah Hall.
All right.
I have a question for you. Just
yeah.
Backtrack a little bit. What do you see next for Anthony Smith?
Man, Anthony Smith, that puts him.
He puts him like right back in the mix up at 205.
Right back in the mix. So you got
Thiago
Jury's fighting Reyes
this weekend.
Yeah. So you got Raddick or Santos for Smith.
Smith's already fought Raddick.
Did he fight? He's fought Santos too, didn't he?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. But I can't remember. That's why I'm going to look.
Nope.
No.
That's the fight.
All right. There you go. Make it. Book it.
That'd be cool.
So I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say I'm a new to MMA, and I want to know who the best all around MMA fighter is on the planet. Everything: striking, kicking, takedowns. Who's your first? Who's your number one?
I probably have to. I posted in the group that pound for pound, I think Valentina is the best fighter in the world. And I got a little bit of hate. And then after the main event, it made me want to retract that a little bit too. But I don't know. But I will stand dead firm on this. I think pound for pound, female fighters, I'll take Valentina's skill set over Amanda Nunes.
Yeah, 100%. I would too. She is just dominant.
It's not. I'm not knocking Amanda Nunes. Amanda Nunes has the greatest women's MMA career of all time. And Valentina, people don't understand. She was a 125er that was having to try to add on extra weight to compete with 135ers.
Yeah,
for a long, because the UFC didn't have a 125 division, and she lost to Liz Carmouche back in 2010 was her first fight, but at 135, and then she's coming up, and she's coming up, and then loses to Amanda Nunes by unanimous decision, and that was legit, but it's at 135.
Yep.
But then beats Holly Holm, armbars Julia Pena, who's now fighting Nunes.
Oh, it's crazy.
And then loses a split decision to Nunes, where I challenge anybody to watch that fight and tell me that Shevchenko didn't win that fight. I really believe that she did, but I'm not a judge. My opinion doesn't matter. But when it's talking pound for pound, skill for skill, the only thing Nunes has on Shevchenko is she's bigger, and so she hits a little harder.
Yeah. If
technique, I'll take Shevchenko all freaking day. And she doesn't just beat girls, she beats girls at their own game. Everybody said Juliana Pena is going to submit her. What she do? Takes her down and arm bars her.
Yeah.
Joanna's the best female striker. Fights Joanna. Now, granted, Joanna came up to her weight class, right?
Yeah.
Give the same respect, but Joanna comes up after losing twice to Rose, and Joanna comes up and she's the best striker. She outpoints her for 3 rounds.
Yeah.
Beats her at her own game. Jessica supposed to be this monster, head kick, puts her to sleep. Rematch with Liz Carmouche. She made a point to not finish her and dominated her for 5 rounds to make sure to prove the point to everybody. She's
a killer, man.
She fights angry. And Dana said it. She looked pissed off all weekend.
Because everybody was saying Andrade was going to wrestle her. And she made it a point. Would she have 7 takedowns in that fight?
Yeah, so she took her down over and over, and then finally put her in a crucifix.
And beautiful takedowns too.
And knew that, and she said, did you hear her talk about this?
A little bit.
She said, yeah, I took her down, and once I got her in the crucifix and I felt like her strength, I knew that she was stuck. And so she's like, so then I knew I could just drop as many elbows as I wanted.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Usman and where he is, and people are saying, well, who's Valentina fought? She's fought who's been put in front of her. The same as DJ, right?
Yeah.
Mighty Mouse for me was still the pound for pound number one when he was in the UFC, even though the John Jones resume of who he was beating better. Part of it to me is, well, why is the gap so big? Is it because all these guys aren't as good? Or is it he's just that great?
Yeah.
She's just that great.
She's just that great.
If she wasn't there, the 125 division would be really fun.
And one thing we talk about, you and I were talking about this yesterday. There's one thing that makes champions like her and Usman special is they don't stay complacent. They get better every fight. They're fighting at championship levels, and they are throwing new things in at every fight.
And then and then the best is she said in the post-fight interview, she's like, everybody keeps looking for my weaknesses. Stop wasting your time. There are none.
Dude, how savage is that? How savage is that? There are none. If you're in her division, what's next for her? It's got to be Nunez again. And I'm going to ask you this question: has Nunez gotten better, or has she just gotten by with her strength? Would you say she's gotten better, or is she just always
she's shown though she's super well rounded and complete. She's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. She's a great striker. She's got she has good wrestling. Like Nunez, that's the other thing. Nunez doesn't have holes. Like I don't think Nunez really has any holes. There's nobody that's going to go in there and be. I mean, okay, well we'll see. Juliana Pena is convinced that Nunez has a grappling deficiency compared to Pena's deficiency, which Valentina already made. I don't believe it, and I think that's great. I mean, if Juliana Pena shocks the world and somehow out wrestles Amanda Nunez and then submits her, like. Okay, like that's really fun. I'll bet you Valentina jumps right up to 35 and takes that belt from Pena then.
She would.
I mean, dude, it's a 1A and 1B. I don't really think if somebody's that hard pressed to say, sorry, I'm always going to give Nunez the nod. She's champ. She, she's basically made the featherweight division obsolete for females, and in the way she's beaten all of because she's a destroyer too, right?
Yeah, they're both destroyers.
What she did to Holly Holm, what she did to Ronda Rousey, and what she's doing to all these other women, right now. Like, I mean, we tried to make a case for Megan Anderson, and
didn't go.
She made that inverted triangle armbar thing. Felicia Spencer was supposed to out wrestle her. She out wrestled Felicia Spencer. They're very similar. They're very similar.
Dominant. I love the tweet from Brett Okamoto saying, just get Lauren Murphy and Joanne Calderwood and have Valentina fight both of them on the same night.
Dude, Lauren Murphy
beat both of them. Beat both of them.
Lauren Murphy is convinced that she can beat Valentina. And you know what, though? We need women to try. Good luck.
Yeah, try. Yeah. You might need Calderwood in the cage with you to help you. And I still don't think it'd be enough.
She'd probably lose 2-on-1, but I'm not 100% convinced.
She'd flatline one of them with a kick.
If I could get plus 500 or better on Valentina 2-on-1, I'm taking those.
Taking it.
Yeah, I'm taking that value.
Crazy. So we were spot on that one. Next up, our girl Thug Rose. There was no doubt. No doubt.
Me and you were on this from day one.
As soon as they announced it, I'm like, both were like Rose. Like she's the better fighter. She was the better fighter. There was nothing luck about that. That was set up beautifully.
Luck. Weili Zhang was already asking for a rematch, and I'm sorry, sweetheart. That your second title defense, and you get it. No, I think you have to. Hey, you know what's fun now? Now her and Joanna, it makes sense for them to run it back.
Yeah.
Right now.
Do it. I love that. I freaking love that. What's next for Rose? Carla Esparza. I heard somebody talking Carla Esparza, maybe a rematch because she beat Esparza beat her, right?
Yeah. If Carla wins, she fights the other Chinese girl.
Yeah.
Yan. If she wins next month, then I think there's a really good chance that that's what we'll see. That would put her on a 5-fight win streak, and yeah, that would be a good fight.
I'll still stick by she's up there with Valentina and Nunez if she's in her game. If she's on point, she's dominant.
She doesn't have any holes. There are a couple girls that can give her some issues, and Carla Esparza, I actually think stylistically is a harder fight. Could be a harder fight because she's so wrestling heavy, and that is one of the recipes to beat Rose. If you can actually wrestle her and out wrestle her, she's got great jiu-jitsu. She's got great striking. She hits hard. We obviously know she hits hard. I mean, for 115, she has some good knockouts.
I
But
all I
she's a
know is
finisher.
I'm not betting against Trevor Whitman's people anymore.
Nope. Lock it up.
Lock it up. We don't bet against Trevor Whitman because they always get better. Everybody gets better. Speaking of getting better, dude, how impressive was Kamaru Usman?
Yeah.
I told you.
I know you did.
I had a feeling, man. Something didn't sit well with me that last fight. I got a lot of crap for it too, but no way. He's never been knocked. I had a feeling because of that last fight, something seemed off. Like it didn't really seem like either one of them were that invested in it the more I think about it. And maybe they were, maybe I'm overthinking it, but I just felt like you were going to see a different Usman, and we did.
Usman was such a dominant, heavy wrestler, and he'll always have that to rely on.
That's scary. And now he has a striking.
But he's showing significant advancements in his boxing and his striking.
I mean, for him to catch Masvidal with that, Masvidal's a veteran. Like, he's a veteran of the game.
Well, what's crazy is listening to Masvidal break it down, how he tricked him and how he got him. He thought he was throwing, he thought he was going jab and going in for a shot. And he said, so he threw his counter left hook to land as he was shooting. And he said, he switched it up on me and it was already too late. And
that was a beautiful right hand.
And when wrestlers can start mixing up their striking if you get to the level where you can get a guy like Jorge Masvidal, where love him or hate him, his fight IQ is through the roof and he's been around forever. When you get to the level where you can do something to somebody like Masvidal that they don't see coming and they don't read, and you can mix up your striking and your grappling like that and be a mixed martial artist and not just be, this isn't shade at Khabib, but it's like everybody kind of knew what Khabib was going to go do, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I feel like this is the next evolutionary step of like what Khabib could have done and added, and his striking was getting better, but for whatever, like Usman's put it all together beautifully, and he's still getting better. And I think it's hilarious that Colby is adamant that he wants that rematch because
I wouldn't be
Usman stops him inside 5 rounds this time.
I think so too. The question is, has Colby gotten better? And I don't think we know the answer to that. And we know Usman's gotten better.
We don't know the answer. And I'll say this. I believe that Colby's gotten better because Colby's done nothing but work. He has his online shtick.
Yeah.
But nobody likes it, but he trains his butt off.
Yeah.
Like, he runs those ultra marathons with Cameron Hayes. And he runs mountains and that's why his cardio, he does his cardio with like ultra marathoners and stuff because he's like, they never get tired. Like, I'll go do it this. So he goes and runs mountains with those guys. And even Cam Haynes says he'll go and he'll do it. It's like what Tony Ferguson does too.
Yeah.
And Colby, here's the question. What wrinkle can Colby add to his game that would throw Kamaru off? And I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I think we'll have a little bit of time to think about it, but it was, something that people don't talk about Usman enough is the mental aspect of his game. You can't break the guy. You can't break the guy. He is just, you saw it in the Burns fight when he got dropped. He's just popped right back up and he's right back to plan, throwing his jab again. It's like, man, that guy mentally is just.
But that's preparation too, and that's years of preparation, right? It's years of preparation. That's Trevor Whitman, same guy as Chaim Krause guy. It's pretty easy to look composed and confident in there when you've put in the work.
Yeah,
and you put in a game plan. I'm going to share something with you. There are 2 guys that I can think of off the top of my head that I train with that have been good training partners and are good friends of mine that have lost fights to people that I would say that they should win that fight 8 or 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
And the unanimous thing with both of them is they knew when they stepped into that cage, they knew that they hadn't trained the way that they should have for that fight. And when they get some adversity, they kind of break.
90%.
And I have 2 friends that I've watched that happen. I was in the corner of one of my buddies that it happened. And I'm like, do you think you did everything you could have to prepare for this fight? He's like, no, I didn't train like I should have.
There you go.
And he made a mistake and he mentally broke. When you're not prepared, that's kind of it's a very natural thing for your mind to go start doubting itself, because you're like, man, I probably, when you start, you didn't do what you were supposed to. James, we talk about with James Krause, guys. Trevor Whitman's going to be the same thing with Kamaru Usman. It's very confident when you've put in all the work, you have all the tools, like you have a game plan, and Trevor Whitman. Go listen to Trevor Whitman, Coach Brendan Schaub on season 10 of The Ultimate Fighter, and Trevor Whitman is on that Rashad Evans coaching staff, and he's telling Brendan Schaub, he goes, "What's your best weapon? Your jab, your jab, your jab, your jab." And look at everybody that Trevor Whitman coaches: Usman, Gaethje, Rose.
Yeah, that's how she got the kickoff.
Sick jabs.
Yeah.
He's like, it's boxing, but it's MMA boxing. And he's figured out how to blend that. And then Usman's got that dominant wrestling. Like, for the love of all that's holy, if nothing else, I hope that Justin Gaethje learns how to start offensively using his wrestling from training with Kamaru Usman, because then he becomes a nightmare at 155.
Scary. Is Usman going to go down as the greatest welterweight of all time?
When it's all said and done, I believe that he is.
I think so too.
Because the other thing is I don't see anybody beating him.
There's nobody.
I take that back.
There's one guy that could.
There's one guy, because stylistically he gives everybody fits. I could see Wonder Boy beating him. I still think Wonder Boy has a legit chance, because it's something completely different.
Yeah, he hasn't seen. Yeah,
he hasn't seen, and he won't see again after it. And if anybody can figure out how to mess with that, it's Trevor Whitman. But even Trevor Whitman and his greatness, there's nothing like Wonder Boy in the UFC. There's nothing like it.
Does Edwards have a chance after he beats Nate?
No.
You like how I just projected that out there, because I know it's going to happen?
Okay, let's just project that Nate somehow wins. I texted you this too. Timeout. I am going to get pissed here for a second. Every Nate Diaz lover, which, hey, I'm a fan of the Diaz brothers. In the cage, I'm a big fan of watching them fight. And we'll talk about Nick Diaz, because I get all hyped, but then it never happens. But whatever. For anybody, it's like, oh, Conor just gets what he wants. Dana does whatever for him. And they can say whatever they want. Nate Diaz, he's 2-2 in the last 5 years in the UFC. Barely active. Beats two little guys. Beats Conor and Anthony Pettis. Gets his absolute butt handed to him on a silver platter by Jorge. And then loses a majority decision to Conor. And it was a close fight. And again, you call it what you want, but our opinions don't matter. It's the judges. So he lost. Sorry. All this, right? Pulls out of the Dustin Poirier fight for whatever reason. Like he calls his own shots. And then he somehow gets the number 3 guy in the world.
It's the number 3. And if he wins,
an unranked fighter.
And what if he wins?
Then
Usman's going to call him out. Usman's going to call him out. He's going to get paid.
He gets, like, for everybody that complains about Conor, Nate Diaz is doing the same thing. He's jumping to the front of the line and has done nothing to earn it.
Nothing. Dude, is Jorge in your top 5? He's in the UFC's top 5. Is he in your top 5?
Top 5 for what?
Welterweight.
Oh, yeah.
You think he's better than Luque, Chiesa? I don't think so.
Yeah, I think he causes some problems for those guys. He does cause some unique problems for those guys.
I texted you yesterday. I think he's getting into Nate territory where he's just going to be the big money fight, because I don't see him fighting for a title again.
I know that you don't.
I mean, I guess it depends on what happens, because if Colby wins, I could see somehow that circling back to Colby and Jorge and that being a huge fight. So I should take that back and say that I do see a path for that happening. I just think
we don't think Usman's losing.
Yeah, I don't think Usman's losing. Like,
how about, you ready for this? if Jorge wants UFC gold around his waist, he has a better shot dropping down at 150.
He's already tried that before. He didn't do good at 155. He had to cut too much.
Yeah.
And he's got his bare knuckle thing coming up this summer. Do you think he'll even want to fight?
I was just listening to his interview on the Errol Juani, and he said even for minutes to maybe an hour, he was like, maybe I should just like, he's got my number. I'm not going to beat Usman. Like that dude ain't losing. Like
how badass. Sorry.
And then he's like, everybody's like, no, we can make some adjustments. Like you can still get it done. Like
he ain't getting it done.
Here's the thing. Here's the other thing. He's never been focused before like he was on this run.
I'll give you that.
And there are really good fights. There are really good fights for him that could be more than just dude, him and Stephen Thompson running it back. They've both talked about like they wouldn't mind fighting each other again. Cause dude, Wonder Boy, it's like, yeah, I'll get paid. I already beat him once, like outpointed him. He lost a split decision to Damian Maia. If Maia wins his next fight against Bilal Muhammad, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's who it is.
You could see that. I think Jorge and Bilal Muhammad is a good fight. Here's the thing. Do you want to be a prize fighter or do you want to really go for UFC gold? Well, that's the decision Jorge needs to decide.
He's a prize fighter.
If he wants to be a prize fighter, go fight Nate Diaz again for your BMF. Go fight his brother Nick on his comeback.
Usman took that BMF belt. Usman's got that.
I mean,
crown him. I mean, after that right hand,
I would have argued it before, but after that right hand, it's pretty hard to argue. But you know what I mean? Like go do that. He'll get the Conor fight eventually. Conor will come up and fight him at 170 eventually. Like that fight will happen. He has big money fights that he can still get done. But if the goal is UFC gold, you need to shelf all those. And you need to try and go beat the Wonder Boys. You need to try and beat Damian Maia again and get that loss back. And then maybe somebody like Bilal Muhammad who's coming up, or I think there's a chance you could see him and Chimaev.
Chimaev's going to have.
Chimaev's going to have to.
Nick sounds like Nick and Chimaev are going to happen.
Well, they're
kicking it around.
All that was asked was at the post-fight press conference when they asked. Dana said, "Yes, Nick wants to fight," and somebody like Chimaev, could he be on the table? And Dana's like, "Yeah, he could be."
Yeah,
that is all that was said. So I don't know.
Breaking news.
Yeah, I think if Nick comes back and fights, I think it's a huge. I think the most likely person. If I'm Dana, I'm trying to get Jorge and Nick.
100%, huge fight.
And Jorge wants that fight too because you beat. So let's say
you beat little brother.
We haven't seen Nick Diaz win a fight in the UFC in over a decade. When people keep saying, "Oh, you could Lucas Montoya, love Lucas," you guys seem to forget who Nick Diaz is. Well, yeah, he hasn't won in a decade, dude. I was in my early 20s when he won last time. You still had color in your beard last time he won.
Oh man, how about
you know what I mean? It's just been forever.
How about
if Jorge sleeps him though? But if Jorge sleeps him, he's right back into the mix.
I don't know if Jorge will sleep him, but
I'm just saying if he does something like if he beats him up, he does whatever. It's the Nate Diaz.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Nate Diaz has been kind of mediocre for a long time. He beats Eve Edwards. Boom, you're in the title picture for the first time in your entire career. You're
crazy
fighting for a title.
What do you think of McGregor trying to call out Usman?
I love Conor. For those of you who know, I have an Irish flag in my office. This U.S. flag right here that my guy Jordan Chandler beautifully made for me. Shout out Jordan Chandler. I love Conor. I try to name my kids Conor. I'm all in Team Conor, and I do not want to see Conor fight Kamaru Usman. I don't want to see him fight anybody at 170. I want to see him focused and do the same thing that I want Jorge to do and start going after gold. And you have to start fighting guys in your division and not looking for the prize fighting somewhere else or for a BMF title or whatever. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, there's some fun fights for Conor outside of going for gold. Dude, I think we're going to see Conor Nate 3 soon. I think we're going to see Jorge. I think we're going to see I mean, honestly, Dustin Poirier beats Connor. Leon Edwards beats Nate Diaz. It's probably the perfect time to do the trilogy.
Get him paid.
I mean, get him paid before.
And the crowd's back. Speaking of crowds, how badass was that? Seeing
goosebumps.
They were usually DC talked about it on their podcast how those early prelims, there's nobody there but family of who was ever fighting, and that place there was 2,000, 3,000 people there already. Yeah. I think there's more than that.
Yeah,
crazy. Like it really. Yeah, I think that added a little bit on top. Just sprinkle it on top. It's like, okay,
dude, you could see it in the fighters. You could see fighters. There's an energy pop from them, and it was good. How great was the F Jake Paul chants? DC
was pissed.
Oh, DC's
not acting. I don't think he's playing WWE.
He's not. Did
you hear him on his podcast?
He hates him.
Did you hear him on the podcast with Ariel? Oh, he's like, I will drop down to 205 right now and fight him in MMA, and I will cut him. I will elbow him, and I will beat him.
Well, yeah. You're one of the greatest of all time, and he's pretending that he's a professional boxer.
Ariel tried to tell him to freaking send him a text to chill out, and basically DC's like, no, I'm not you. I'm not you. I'm not a pussy. I'm going to freaking go over there and confront that. And then he apologized. He did apologize on the show. He's like, hey, man, I'm not saying that you wouldn't do this and this and that.
I am.
Ariel's like, I'm not going to do it. He did say, he's like, I'm not.
Ariel's not having any of that nonsense.
If you're Jake Paul and DC comes up to you and he's pissed, what do you do? I mean,
just try not to crap yourself.
I mean, yeah.
If DC puts his hands on him, he's dead.
He's done. I mean, he's a big guy. He's a strong guy, but I don't think he's felt something like that.
Dude,
the guy that's fought heavy, that's knocked out heavyweight.
By the way, if you're DC, this is the perfect way to be like dismissive of Jake Paul. Be like, no. Like, I've already made my name. Yeah. I'm one of the greatest of all time. I was a 2-time 2-division champion, heavyweight champion of the world. Like, you don't get to come set the terms if you want to do something with me. Yeah. You come into my world. Like, that's be like, no, I hold the cards. Like, you want to make money off my name? You come to my world. I'm not coming to yours. You know, that's really what these MMA guys really need to start doing, is goading him. Because here's the other thing. Jake Paul, his ego's huge, obviously.
I'm sure he's playing up. He's playing up.
Oh yeah, for sure. But he's a man too. And he is a decent athlete.
He is a decent athlete.
And he hits hard.
He's got some power.
Right?
He freaking dropped Ben.
So at what point does he start going, yeah, I can hang with those guys? Well, at what point does he start thinking that? Because I'll bet you it's already in his head.
I don't know. I don't know. Hopefully he would have somebody in his corner telling him like, hey, dude, no,
it's not the move.
You don't want a Tyron Woodley, even though he's got his.
By the way, that's what I think's happening.
You think Woodley?
I'm predicting it right now. I think the UFC and Tyron Woodley parted ways, and I think there was a chance that was going to happen anyways. But the timing of all of it is, it sounded like the UFC was willing to bring him back. He was still a ranked welterweight, and it sounded like, and Tyron's
are they boxing?
Tyron's like, yeah. Tyron smokes him in a boxing match.
I don't know. I'm going to say I don't know on that one.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, he's an athlete, man.
I know he is.
Big, he's strong. He's just going to be a naturally bigger guy too. You got to give him somebody a little bigger. You got to, in my opinion, you got to give him like a middleweight.
That's right. You still think that he freaking beats Nate Diaz too? You think he knocks out?
He's too big. He's too big.
No, he's not.
Too big. He's way too big.
No, he's not.
Dude, he weighed in at 195 for that fight. That means he's walking around probably 215.
I don't think he's cutting weight though.
210.
I don't think he's cutting weight.
Well, he had to cut a little bit. He had to have lost some to get into that thing. But even then, he's just
maybe physically 200 pounds.
I bet you he's a solid 20 pounds of lean body mass bigger than Nate. I bet you he is.
Maybe.
I just not a fan of Nate Diaz. Well, I'm a fan of him. I shouldn't say that. I like him.
Who do you want to see Nick Diaz fight? If Nick Diaz is really coming back, who do you want to see him fight?
Jorge.
Right? That's the number one.
Give it to him. Jorge just got knocked out. Nate hasn't fought in a while, or Nick hasn't fought in a while. Do it. Now's the time to do it. Sold out crowd. Do it back in Florida or Texas, I guess, or Vegas, wherever. I would say California, but they're not going to have them there. So, I'll tell you off the air.
Dana went off on how great Florida's been and how stupid all the other states are.
Did
you hear that?
It's this. Yeah. I just wish there wasn't so much misinformation, because I will say, from our point of view, for me, and I know you, I outside of my family in Michigan, I don't know anybody here that's been that sick. And I have family in Michigan that's been extremely sick from it.
Yeah.
3 family members very close to me.
Dude, it's not that I don't empathize with the people that's getting sick, but it's the changing the lives of everybody over something that's only affecting like 0.02%.
Yeah, that's what
my buddy that's in the office next to me. He hasn't had taste or smell in 7 months. That sucks. Yeah. And everything tastes like gasoline for him.
That's weird.
His taste starts coming back, and everything tastes like gasoline. It sucks.
Yeah. We could probably go on a tangent on that.
No, but what Dana said, and this is all I'm going to say, is he goes, yeah, it was awesome. If you wanted to wear your mask, you wear your mask. If you don't want to wear your mask, don't wear your mask, and just let everybody do that. Do you. That's like my biggest thing is that I love is just let everybody do what they want to do. Like, just if you don't want to go wear a mask, I am not going to make fun of anybody wearing a mask. I take that back. I make fun of people that wear masks when they're driving in their car by themselves wearing a mask. I do kind of like, what are you doing, dude? But come on, you do too, right? Yes. Like when you see that, you're just like, what are you doing? You can get it from your AC vent. I don't know. But with your mask, right? But if you want to wear your mask, wear your mask. If you don't. Like, and there's stores here in Kaysville that have started to post like masks recommended. Like that's what the Maverick says. That's what the grocery store here says. Masks recommended. That's perfect. But put it on the people to let them risk assess. Right?
Yeah, I agree. So
that's cool. So you think Jorge's done overall, and big money fights are all that's in his future?
I do. I don't think you'll see him fight for a title again.
So if you're,
I think the Nick fight is the fight to make for Jorge. I don't think you wait on that one. Now that fans are back, I think you just book that for late summer, early fall. Let's get it cracking. Well, probably fall, because Jorge's not going to run it back very quick after that knockout.
So Colby, does Wonder Boy have a dance partner?
Yeah, Burns in June.
Oh yeah,
June 12th or something like that.
So Wonder Boy needs to win that fight so that he can be the next guy after Usman beats Colby again.
Does he beat Burns?
I think he does. I have a hard time picking against Wonder Boy because I don't know if there's what's the best way to put it? Like, I don't know if there is nobody has a style that beats him.
Yeah.
You can beat him, but it's because you have to catch him. Nobody has a style to beat him. You know what I mean? Does that make sense at all?
No, it makes perfect sense. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I mean, he's only lost to, Anthony Pettis, Darren Till. Personally, I thought Wonder Boy won that fight, but okay, like, hey, when you're going over to Europe, and you're going over to England to fight the hometown guy, like, it's going to be pretty tough to get the judges.
It's going to be tough to get the nod.
Anderson went through it with Michael Bisping over in England too. Bisping beat Anderson Silva. Go watch that fight. There's no way Bisping beat Anderson Silva in that fight. It just happened in England.
Yeah.
But Anthony Pettis, Woodley, but that's when Woodley was still good. And Matt Brown on his UFC
debut. That was his debut. They give him Matt Brown.
Second UFC.
Yeah. They give him Matt Brown.
And so it's like, but there's not like a common theme of like guys that beat him really. And the way he beat Vicente Luque and Jeff Neal and how easy he made it look just makes me think like Burns is going to have one of his explosive and like catch him and put him out.
Yeah. Yep. I don't see him outpointing him.
No, nobody outpoints him.
Yeah, he's definitely not going to outpoint him. Yeah. So you'll probably get Nate versus Usman again, maybe the end of the year.
You mean Colby?
Oh, Colby Usman. Yeah, Colby Usman. That's probably his last. That'll probably be Usman's last fight. Don't you think? This year,
pretty healthy.
Depends on how much damage he takes against Colby, I guess.
Yeah, people forget. I'm just gonna remind everybody again because I feel like everybody forgets. That fight was tied going into the 5th round. Colby delivered a lot of damage himself in that fight.
He did, but I don't think I think he pity-patted him for the 5 rounds. When Usman was connecting, they were the harder shots. Like he busted his face up pretty good early on.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He was cracking him. And I think that's going to be the difference. Usman's just too strong. I don't think Colby has the power, although he did hurt him a couple times.
Yeah, he did.
So, I mean, I don't know, man.
View is interesting. And Ariel asked Jorge this, and Jorge he's handling this like a man.
Yeah.
Above everything, but Ariel being Ariel has to instigate. And he did ask him, he said, do you think you were at a disadvantage fighting him this time around on a full camp after fighting him on 6 days notice because you didn't get like an accurate read on him because it was just like, like you said, Usman was fighting him on 6 days notice too. And it's just like, I'm just going to put him up on the cage, get this win and get out of here.
Yeah. I kind of think they both, honestly, I think they both went in there thinking they knew the rematch was already on the table and they just kind of were just going to coast to it. Because if you think like,
there's no urgency from either.
There's no urgency from either one of them. There's no urgency for Jorge to get off the fence. Could he have gotten off the fence? I don't know, but he didn't try.
Well, I think he was just conserving energy and resting.
Yeah, that too.
Because he had to go 5 rounds. But and I was like that, and Jorge just said, doesn't matter. Like hats off to him. He beat me.
Yeah.
And that's what's been, dude, this is actually what makes me go all in with fighters and a fan. I loved Connor, but when I went all in with him was when he handled his loss against Nate. Yeah. And when he was like, yeah, it stings. Like, he was big and I and he starts saying what he did wrong. I underestimated that my shots wasn't, wouldn't break him down as bad. Yeah. And he gives him credit and doesn't make any excuses, right? Like he didn't make any excuses. Jorge, same thing. Like, got my number. You're the better man. Like, and even on Ariel, he goes, I still think I can beat that man. And he's like, but I know I'm going to have to win a bunch of fights to even try and get close back up to the top. He's right. Like he's right. He's going to have to win a whole lot of fights to justify doing it again.
He won't be able to close that gap because as he's getting better, Usman's getting better. He's getting better. Usman's getting. They're just.
Well, Jorge can't get that much better. He's 30.
Yeah, 1 foot forward, 2 steps back is basically what he's going to do. He just needs to really just bank on these money fights, in my opinion. Just cash it, man. Your name's big. You're still a big name. People still love you. Like, get your money, man. Get your money. It ain't about the belt. The belt's pretty much irrelevant for every division. Nobody even cares about it. Obviously, i.e. Nate getting the shot at the number 3 guy.
Pay-per-view points.
Yeah, pay-per-view makes sense, but
it matters for paychecks.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know, but I mean, what does Usman have to do for you to is he the pound for pound male best fighter
right now?
Yeah. Is he better than John? Is he better than Francis?
Right now, yes. For his body of work that he's done right now, what's he, 14 wins in a row, 13 wins in a row?
In the UFC. 14.
In the UFC? And how many title defenses? 6?
I don't think it's that many, is it?
He's like 1 or 2 away from tying George and Hughes. He's right there.
Well, he beat Tyron. He beat Tyron for the title, and then he's defended it against Colby, Masvidal, Burns, Masvidal.
So 4 times. So what does GSP have 6? And Hughes both have 6, right? I think they have 6 title defenses each.
That sounds right.
He'll get to 6.
Well, yeah.
He's going to pass. I think he's going to pass him. I mean, as far as all around skilled fighter, he's better than both of those guys. If you teleport those guys into right now, he beats both of those guys. Or if you teleport him back to their time, he beats both those guys. You take Usman from Saturday night and put him in with St. Pierre. I bet you St. Pierre would say the same thing.
On St. Pierre's best night?
I would be willing to bet St. Pierre would probably, he's already said it. The guys are just better nowadays. It's just a fact.
Well, yeah.
Like they've talked about how much the sport has evolved since it first started. Like no other sport evolves like that.
Yeah, it's a different sport. Well, they can evolve like that, but I mean, we're still what 25 years into the infancy, less than 25 years old.
Is there another sport out there? I hope I don't sound like a feminist when I'm saying that, where the women are talked about at that high level as the men. Like, you know what I mean? They're not talked about like that. They're not.
Well, I don't know. I don't pay attention to soccer.
They're not on the same. They're not on the same level. I mean, you talked about them. Yeah, they're good, but we literally talk about this all the time. You could throw Nunez and Shevchenko as your best pound for pound fighter right now, and not be wrong.
Both of them are in the top 5, and I don't even think it's a debate.
What other sport can you say that about? Like how badass is that about MMA?
It's what I love about MMA.
And it's not just, you don't just get one group of people watching. Like WNBA has a group of people that watch. Women's soccer has one group of people that watch. Everybody watches Thug. Everybody had tears in their eyes when Thug Rose was when she's saying, "I'm the best. I'm the best." I'm over here tearing up. Joe Rogan's tearing up.
I am the best.
I am the best. Awesome. I was like, that's like it's crazy. I was thinking about that last night. I'm like, I don't think there's another sport where you're going to talk about the female fighters in the same breath as you are at Usman, or they're just as talented.
Yeah.
They're just as talented. Valentina Shevchenko is just as skilled.
It is crazy.
I wouldn't want to spar with her. Would you want to spar with her?
I think it'd be awesome
to get your ass kicked by Valentina Shevchenko.
That'd be great.
How many dudes do you think she could probably kick 90% of the dudes' ass walking planet Earth right now?
99%.
99% of dudes out walking around. She'd beat my ass. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not even gonna try to front.
The only people she's not beating up are Dagestanis.
Dude, I bet you she could come and mop up some 125-pound amateur guys right now, 135-pound amateur guys right now.
Excuse me, sir. I'm about to fight for an 170-pound AMI title, and she'd mop me up.
It's crazy though. It's that skill level, that martial arts, that skill level, how it translates. She
can do what she can do. That's the thing. She can do it all. And she's elite at it.
Technical, elite. Those takedowns, just grab that body lock, trip, boom. And she was proving the point.
Yeah, she was. Everybody's like, Jessica Andrade, she's the
She's going to wrestle me? Yeah, okay, we'll see.
Yeah. Okay.
She couldn't do nothing. Andrade couldn't do nothing. Yeah. What was I watching? We were watching PFL when one of the Russian dudes was fighting. And he was wrestling, and he just held the dude down. I was telling my sister, the third round started. I told my little sister, I said, I will bet you $500 right now that guy will not get up from there. And there's 5 minutes left in this round. Well, 4 minutes left in the round. She's like, no way. He's going to get up. I'm like, no,
he's not.
I walked away, came back. There's like 30 seconds left. I'm like, look, she was on her phone. I'm like, look, she's like, oh my God. I'm like, told you.
Oh man.
Crazy. All right.
I love it.
We're gonna have some guests for Wednesday. What do we got for Wednesday? We getting anybody on Wednesday? We'll reach out to a few people.
Yeah.
Steel fist fights. We'll get a couple of the guys that are on the steel fist fights. I know Kendrick wanted to come on.
Yeah.
We'll see if we can get Eric and Cole on, get the main event on.
Yeah.
I'll reach out to a couple of the fierce people too. See if we can get some of them on.
Let's do it.
All right. I'm gonna go take a nap since I was up all day yesterday and night.
I'm going to go to jiu-jitsu.
Have fun.
I will.
All right, bro. Talk to you later. We out.
Thanks, everybody.